Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wednesday, November 9th, 2022 Public Works Session of the Neshaminy School Board. Ms. Burns, do I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Allen?
Present.
Mrs. Hallenbeck?
Here.
Mrs. Bowman?
Here.
Mr. Kovitz?
Here.
Mrs. Lafferty?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Here.
Mr. Cirillo and Mr. Sporny are both absent with prior notice. And Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board met in executive session this evening prior to this meeting to discuss matters of employment, issues related to labor relations, the purchase or lease of real property, matters related to litigation, and matters related to school safety and security. Ms. Burns, do we have any announcements?
There are no announcements.
Announcements? Dr. McGee, our superintendent's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. I'd like to start by officially welcoming Dr. Kevin Kane to Neshaminy. It's his first board meeting. Welcome, Kevin. Thank you for being here. In our boardroom, our art display by the teachers and students at Hoover Elementary, Buck Elementary, and Miller Elementary. They're working on lines, shapes, and colors in different media, watercolor, markers, crayon, and clay and paper mache, which I assume are not with us. So thank you for decorating our room. Before I get to the co-curricular stuff, curricularly, some things going on that are good behind the scenes. Presently, we are piloting a new language arts program. My chair just went down.
You got my old chair. Luck of the draw.
It's really time to. I'll just stay down.
You need another chair.
Here.
I'm good. Trust me. We're piloting a new language art program, 6 through 8, a new math program, 6 through 8. We're also piloting language art in the elementary level. We're well into the implementation of a new math program at the elementary level, and our MTSS initiative is in year 2, seeing great improvements in students' reading, writing, and behavior. All that going on behind the scenes. Today, right now, we have 16 Neshaminy seniors signing their college intent letters to play athletics at college. So that ceremony is going on at the Neshaminy High School right now. Congratulations to those 16. This is National Signing Day for certain sports. There'll be another one in February and another one in the spring. Also continuing on, Ladies Skin Soccer continues their role. They won, was it last night, Tuesday, 3-0, and they will continue again on Saturday at noon against Conestoga down at over at Springfield High School. And tomorrow, one of my favorite events here at Neshaminy is Maple Point's Veterans Day ceremony. If you haven't seen the flag outside, that is part of it. That starts at 10:30 a.m. and it's a tradition here at Maple Point that's gone on for 20-plus years, and it's pretty impressive because it's been passed from group to group to group and keeps on going. So, Mr. Allen, that's my report.
Thank you, Dr. McGee. That brings us to our first round of public comment. Ms. Burns, do we have any sign-ups?
There were no sign-ups.
Sign-ups. The podium is open. Does anyone from the public wish to approach and address agenda items or even non-agenda items? Seeing none, I close this round of public comment and bring us to agenda section 2. Mr. Sullivan, please.
Item 2.01, award of construction bids for the new elementary school. Whereas having resolved to advertise for and receive bids for the construction of the new elementary school project at the Maple Point Middle School site, an elementary school project, and whereas having received bids for all prime contracts as of October 13th, 2022, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of School Directors of the Neshaminy School District hereby resolves as follows. subject to I, the satisfactory execution of submission of written agreements between owner and contractor, surety bonds and insurance certificates, all as required by the contract documents for the project, and in such form as may be approved by District General Counsel. 2, the approval of the project by all authorities having jurisdiction thereof, including without limitation, Middletown Township, Bucks County Conservation District, and the Pennsylvania Department of Education, Environmental Protection and Transportation. The board intends to accept the following bid proposals and award. Contract number 1, general construction to E.R. Stubner at a price of $21,316,000, including the base bid of $22,431,000, and alternate number 1, A1, deduct $715,000, and A3, deduct $400,000. And B, contract number 2, site work construction to Blair Corp. At a price of $6,960,000, including the base bid of $6,960,000 and no alternates. And C, contract number 3, kitchen equipment to 11400 at a price of $457,000, including the base bid of $457,000 and no alternates. And D, contract number 4, fire protection construction to Accelerated Fire Protection at a price of $595,106, including the base bid of $595,106 and no alternates. And E, contract number 5, plumbing construction to MICO at a price of $2,353,000, including the base bid of $2,353,000 and no alternates. And F, contract number 6, mechanical construction to Tri-County Mechanical at a price of $5,287,000, including the base bid of $5,287,000 and no alternates. And G, contract number 7, electrical construction to Borough Construction at a price of $6,768,500, including the base bid of $6,776,000, and alternates number 3 deducts $7,500. 2, the Board of School Directors authorizes the administration, project architect, district general counsel, and construction manager to take all actions as may be necessary to give notice of his actions as herein resolved to all parties in interest in such form and manner as they may deem appropriate. The Board of School Directors authorizes the administration, project architect, district general counsel, and construction manager to take all other actions that they may deem necessary and proper to execute the foregoing resolutions of the board, including the preparation and submission of all documents required by the Pennsylvania Department of Education under Plan Con, Part G and Part F, and all other governmental bodies, agencies, and authorities with jurisdiction over the project.
Thank you. The motion has been made. Does that motion have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kovitz. Anyone have any comments, questions, discussion on that motion?
Don,
Yes.
can we just, for a point of reference, say what the alternates are as opposed to alternate 1 or alternate 2, just so they're on the record officially? That's probably a question for Don.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand the question. I don't have that information in front of me this evening, as it relates to which these alternates are.
I think I might, hold on. Is it just the 2 in the general contractor bid? Oh,
It
no,
would be
there's one in the electrical bid.
And mechanical.
Yeah.
No mechanical.
No mechanical, electrical.
I just know what the deduct in the general construction bids are. So the first,
I didn't think to bring that with me this evening.
hold on.
We can find it.
Damien's close there.
If we can just make sure that we get it out then, just so it's,
We certainly can get that out and make that as part of the information presented as part of this meeting.
okay.
You have it.
I don't have it. I have it somewhere.
I believe one of the deducts will be the roof.
So the $70,000 deduct in the general contractor is the roof. 715,000, and then the 400,000 are the canopies. I know what they are.
Okay.
The electrical involves the switch work.
Is this switchgear?
That's the switch gear. I can't explain it, but it gets a switch gear that actually is available as compared to
Yes.
switch gear that we can't buy.
Correct. In the electrical, and under G, the alternative is more mechanical switchgear as opposed to higher level digital, and that has to do with supply chain issues, unfortunately. There are things that are sitting on a shelf we can get that are every bit as good, time-tested, certainly, but some of the more current state-of-the-art, if you will, just aren't available. They're like weeks out. So we had to put that in as, you know, if all else fails, this is what we're gonna get. So, okay? All right, I call that motion to a vote. All those, oh, I'm sorry, let's do a roll call vote on that as per legal. Ms. Burns, please.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hallenbeck?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowman?
Yes.
Mr. Kovitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Motion passes. Very good. Glad to get that project off the ground. That brings us to 2.02. Ms. Laverty, please, take us through that.
I'd like to make a motion, 2.02, first reading of policy, whereas the Board Policy Committee reviewed Policy Series 100, Policy 709, and Policy 711 at the October 27, 2022 committee meeting, and whereas the following board policies are being recommended for a policy first reading. Now therefore be it resolved that Neshaminy School Board Directors reviewed Policy Series 100 and Policy 709 and 711 and recommend a second reading and final adoption of the policies noted below at the November 22nd, 2022 Public Board meeting. Those are Section 111, Lesson Plan, 117, Homebound Instruction, 119, Current Events, 121, Field Trips, 122, Extracurricular Activities, 123, Interscholastic Athletics, 123.1, Concussion Management, 140.1, Extracurricular Participation by Charter Cyber School Students, 144, Standards for Victims of Violent Crimes, 709, Building Security, 711, Video Surveillance, which is a new policy.
Thank you, Ms. Laverty. A motion has been made. Does that motion have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sullivan. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We said that wrong again. Abstentions. Motion passes. We're at 7-0. Why don't we do that now? We have some further information on our,
So clarification on the deducts in the first, we're going back to the previous motion awarding the bids. In contract one, the general contractor deduct 1A was to do the EPDM roof assembly instead of the higher priced Tremco roof assembly. And deduct 3 is the canopies on the exterior, the building that shield the bus lane, etc. The other deduct is also deduct 3, which is the electrical work that went into the canopies to light the canopies. So I was mistaken because the electrical work was rebid, if I'm not mistaken. So we actually didn't rebid it. We waited a week to clarify the bid to fix that issue. So really, there's only 2 deducts. One appears in two spots because of the lighting on the canopies. My apologies for not having that earlier. Yeah,
Yes.
I was answering
That's
Tina's
not what she
question.
was asking.
That's not what she was asking?
That's not what she was asking.
Okay.
She,
Swing and a
she
miss.
wants to know what the alternative company names are. Right, Tina?
No.
I thought that's what she said.
I just wanted something on the record to show what the alternatives were. When Marty was reading
She
the,
said alternatives.
motion, it said, base bid with deduct 1A
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever that
All
is.
right.
I
I
just think it
misunderstood.
should be what that is, just for transparency, put out there, that's all.
Okay.
So I think that covers.
I think that
Yeah.
covers
Okay,
it.
all right. My apologies.
Nope, fine. That brings us to Agenda 3, Section 3, items for approval at the public meeting. The 3.01, routine business matters, matters of treasurer's report, procurement card purchases, investments, exonerations, etc. 3.02, student settlement agreements. 3.03, well, the reaffirmation of staff funded by federal programs. This is 3.04, Act 57 of 2022. 3.05, the Head Start Pre-K and Early Learning Center programs, MOU with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit. And I believe that is it. Anyone have any questions or comments? Open for discussion on those items. Seeing none, brings us to our committee reports. 4.01, business ops. I'll defer to Ms. Bowman, please.
Hi, good evening. Business operations met back in September. We have a scheduled meeting for next Monday, November 14th at 6:30 here in the boardroom.
Well, thank you. That brings us back to you, educational development.
Okay, educational development met back in the beginning of October, and we discussed and reviewed this past summer programs, how they ran, their successes, areas to improve. We discussed block scheduling, which is in the very early stages of development. We reviewed and discussed teacher observations, reviewed the 2023-2024 school calendar, and our next scheduled meeting is for January 17th, 6:30, here in the boardroom.
Thank you, Ms. Bowman. That brings us to facilities and planning. Mr. Sullivan, please.
We have the meeting scheduled for next Tuesday, the 15th, in this room, and we will be further discussing the Fields project as well as the new proposed field house.
Very good. Brings us to policy, I believe. Ms. Lafferty?
We did meet on October 27th to discuss first reading of policy, all of those sections I just read. It was a good meeting. I think it was at 2 hours? It was a 2-hour meeting. It was a good meeting. But other than that, nothing new to report. Our next meeting is on January 19th, 2023.
Thank you, Ms. Lafferty. That brings us to our representative reports. Mr. Cirillo is absent, so we do not have an IU update. That brings us to 5.02, Neshaminy Education Foundation. Mr. Kovitz, please.
Yes, sir. So the foundation had a raffle for some sports team that goes by the name of the Eagles. Apparently, they're something of a big deal so far this year. And they made over $2,000 with that fundraiser. So very, very happy about that. They are also holding their first ever Alumni Achievement Award. That'll be held at Neshaminy High School, Monday, November 21st. And they will be honoring 5 Neshaminy alumni with the goal of inspiring our current students. Other than that, our next meeting is going to be Monday, November 14th at 4 o'clock right here at Maple Point, and the community is invited to attend and participate. That's it for now.
Thank you, Mr. Kovitz. That brings us to 5.03, our Pennsylvania School Board Association liaison. Ms. Bowman.
No report at this moment.
Okay, thank you. 5.04, technical school. I'm going to defer back to Mr. Kovitz.
Okay, so we met last on Monday, October 24th, and at that time, if you remember, the previous month, we talked about their three-phase plan for the new roof. So Phase 2 bidding started that week, and just like we're seeing certain issues with supply, apparently the air conditioning units are might set us back up to 40 weeks. So that could interfere with our plan of actually beginning Phase 2 the moment the students leave the building for the summer. So we may have to push that back. But we'll see how things go. That's still up in the air. The previous week, before we met, there was an active shooter drill. Obviously, this is a thing that's occurring, and so the Tech High School wants to make sure that they're doing whatever they can to prepare our students, and apparently it went very well. They learned a lot of interesting things in the process. They also won two awards that were fairly noteworthy. The Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce presented them with a Workforce Development Award, and the Courier-Times gave them the best tech school in Bucks, so that was a big thing. The only other thing of note is they were contacted by a technical school in Frankfurt, Germany, and that are interested in working through the German consulate and setting up a kind of an exchange program, which would be a really neat opportunity for some of our students going there. So more on that as things progress. So other than that, we're meeting again towards the end of this month. I don't have the exact date.
I don't know either.
But it's usually the last Monday of the month. So that's it for now.
Also understand tomorrow is open house?
I
it is.
believe you are
At the
correct.
tech
I knew there was something coming up, but I can't recall exactly what date, but
Tomorrow's a busy day.
November 28th.
Thank you.
November 20th. Thank you. Yep. So, yep. That's it for now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kovitz. That brings us to the close of our meeting and our second period of public comment. Anyone wish to approach the podium? Comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, does the board have any future topics to mention? Also seeing none, that brings us to board comment. Jump in. All right, seeing none, Dr. McGee, I should have went with you first. As
That's
usual.
okay. Just a reminder, Friday is Veterans Day. It's not just a day off and not just a federal and state holiday. It's where we celebrate and thank the tens of millions of U.S. veterans, not to be confused with those actively serving. That's Armed Forces Day. These are those who have served in the past. So please pause and remember why we take the day off and thank some of those who have served. So with that said, Mr. Allen.
Thank you. I am looking forward to tomorrow. I hope my schedule continues to be open so I can make it. It's one of my favorite events here in Maple Point. And I will call a quick close to the meeting with mentioning that the business operations meeting is at 11:14. We mentioned that, right? Still the correct date. Followed 11:15, Facilities Planning Committee. And our next public board meeting will be 11/22 this month. That, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second by Mr. Sullivan. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes 7-0, and we thank you, Ms. Hollenbach, and be safe.
Good night.
Anyway, what happened?